must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, and it's not, they don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue.
By the poverty itself.
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
Thank you very much, viewers. Today, COMESA is sitting in Nairobi to find out how free trade can unite the countries of COMESA and Africa. The trade in Africa has been a trade of cut off, cut on, put back, switch off, switch back. The common market for East and Central Africa and South Africa, which is commonly known as COMESA, puts us a step forward towards integration of Africa and accelerates the integration of Africa. I believe in building block by block of integration of Africa. I believe in building inch by inch, country by country, removing all the tariffs that have hindered Africa from trading freely amongst themselves. Africa's population can buy its own goods. African population can purchase, can import materials that are not needed, that are not in Africa, but can import from each other the materials that are available. This can be done without any further push, any further pull from any of the countries. You might have differences with Europe, but you can also solve those differences by uniting with Africa in order to trade with Europe. It is therefore very important for Africa and Africans to encourage such meetings, like the meeting that is attended by President Museveni, President Uhuru Kenyatta, President Lungu, President of Madagascar, and other COMESA leaders who are in town to discuss the trade, free trade amongst COMESA countries. The East African Common Market of the East African Community is one of the blocks that will build COMESA into an African free trade zone. I encourage, I support, we stand by all the deliberations that are being conducted in Nairobi. Thank you, viewers.
know, when one is asked to talk about leadership in Africa, one's mind wanders in many directions, because in the recent past, the continent of Africa has been the subject of scrutiny from many quarters. There are those who are Afro-pessimists and take the view that Africa will never realize our potential. There are those Afro-optimists who take the view that the jury is still out on the success or otherwise of the continent of Africa. I am an Afro-optimist. I take the view that this continent has had a glorious past, and that this continent has had her trials and tribulations. Better days are in the future. There are those who, when talking about Africa, are in the habit of dealing with Africa as if it were one monolithic block. They do not recognize that the beauty of Africa is in her diversity. And indeed, when you care to undertake a geographical survey of Africa, you the west of Africa offers, what the center of Africa offers, what the south of Africa offers, what the Horn of Africa offers, and what the north of Africa offers. That is the continent that we are talking about today. And we are talking about her because she continues.
Zimbabwe's economy is cursed because we have a bad leadership running the treasury of the people of Zimbabwe. President Emerson Mnangagwa should have picked a person who understands the political, social, economic apparatus of what the economy of Zimbabwe is. President Emerson Mnangagwa would have been able to walk out of this quagmire of the economy by picking a leader, a person who is able to manage the economy. The current Minister of Finance is a parrot of George Soros, Brent Woods institutions. He cannot run the economy. A person who always talks of hiked prices, hiked percentage, hiked fuel, not help you in a struggle where regime change is near the doorsteps. President Emerson Mnangagwa, dear brother, time has come to change the direction. The Zimbabwe economy is the Waterloo of the government of Zimbabwe. It is important, therefore, for us to do what we call fatigue evaluation. Is there a need for fatigue evaluation? Is the system moving forward? Is there an investment that is coming as it was, as people were willing to come with investment? It is very shocking at this age that America is piling pressure and sanctions on Zimbabwe, that the same American people, through a proxy, send one to be the chairman of Zimbabwe Reserve Bank, or the Central Bank of Zimbabwe. I want to ask, what is this that we Africans get confused when it comes to the direction of our own policies? Here is a country that has hammered sanctions, and here we are. We have got their own native coming to manage our and micromanage our finances to find out why we went wrong. But then he's not going to tell America to remove sanctions before he manages the same place. Are we cursed? I believe the people of Zimbabwe, I believe the president will look at this and review the appointment of Mr. Mark Holzman. Mr. Mark Holzman can be very good in Rwanda, cannot be very good in Zimbabwe. He will bring you the mobs and the millions of people on the streets of Harare if you allow him to run your economy or your finances. Thank you. Fellow Africans, I took this petition to the court in order to stop any future usage of falsehood and false documents, procured witnesses of the Waki Commission. I took this petition to the court 4 years ago in order to make sure that the Chief Prosecutor of International Criminal Court does not use this evidence anytime in the future, whether tomorrow or 10 years to come, to refer to this evidence because the evidence was fake. It is with this dismay and with this courage that I took to go to court in Kenya to seek a judicial review and to redeem the credibility of both those accused and the victims of this catastrophe that occurred in Kenya, that I decided to seek to expunge this report from the reports and the statute books of Kenya. It is unfortunate that the 3 judges in Kenya, whom I will name now, Judge Kanyi Kimondo, Judge Aburil, and Judge Onyengo, all of them sat down and gave very silly, flimsy, prudish, sardonic ruling against our petition. I want to tell the Kenyans that I have done my best. I want to be on record that should this thing reappear again, don't call me. Should it reappear again, don't say I never told you. Should the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court use this fake evidence again against Kenyans, don't say I did not tell you. My role was to go and remove these obnoxious toxins from the books of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to tell the world that my torrid road, a long road that I've taken in search for this envelope, has ended in Kenya so far. But I want to announce that Kenya is not the only state party in international law. Kenya is not the only state party. I will in future very soon detail to you which other state party I'm going to seek this envelope to be expunged and to be made public to the people of the world. I want to thank you all. I want to tell you that a detailed document which is entitled My Long Road, Torrid Road to Work envelope will be found on www.panafricanforumltd.com. You can read it, you can dissect, you can see the days, the long road, what I took, what I did, referenced, well documented, and may God help you that at one time somebody in Kenya will stand up to say thank you very much.
And a very warm welcome to you. Thank you very much. It's a bit cold evening here in Nairobi. It's raining. It's a blessing, so we love it as it rains. Maybe the hunger will go away from the Republic, but we thank you so much for joining us. It is another edition of The Punch, and with me is none other than Doctor himself, Dr. David Matanga. Doctor.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Mm-hmm. Miriam, thank you very much. This is your first time on The Punch.
Oh, The Punch, yes.
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 This is a new show that looks out at outstanding issues on Africa. What is in Africa that we can look at. Somalia this week picks our brains. We want to see, is it drifting towards a new conflict altogether? Apart from Al-Shabaab, there seems to be another conflict which is brewing amongst the African states, the East African states, the United Nations General Assembly, the United Nations Security Council,
the AU.
The AU. No, AU has not yet made any mistake on this one. The United Nations Security Council countries, Germany, United States of America, Belgium, Eritrea, countries like Qatar. These are countries that are causing us a new war. A new war is emerging. Why it is emerging, we want to look at it. Today, you can ask any questions wherever you are, interact with us, but we want to know why countries are, again, we seem to have forgotten that Al-Shabaab has killed so many people, injured so many people, destroyed people's property, made things very difficult for the states in Africa and around Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda,
Eritrea,
and some other states. People have suffered in those states. But we now look at a new child, a group of children who have arrived who caused the same problem that Somalia is. So before we go any further, I want to give a brief overview of Somalia. Somalia was a peaceful country until 1991. Siad Barre was the president of the Republic of Somalia. Somalia played a pivotal role in the liberation of several countries on the continent of Africa. Siad Barre and other leaders in Somalia were Pan-Africans. And as such, we stand by them. Wherever they are in their graves, we still spread the same message that Siad Barre would have seen if he was alive. Since 1991, when the Americans told Siad Barre to have devolution, part of the problem of Somalia was devolution. The state was developed into several, developed units. A coup took place. Siad Barre was removed. He went into exile. Here we are. He's no more. Somalia remains the same from 1991 to date. Several governments have come and gone. Islamic courts of Sharif Ahmed Sharif came, it went. The transitional government of Somalia has been stable. Uganda was one of the first countries, and we want to thank all the countries, starting from Uganda, Burundi, Ethiopia, and Kenya now, that have contributed troops. There is a problem when you study international relations. One of the problems when you have studied international relations is the angle of permanent interests. There seem to be among a new group of countries that have now seen we Africans have done the best donkey work. And we have done the donkey work about Somalia, tried to pacify it, lost human lives, lost property, money, everything, time, logistics. Because Uganda would not like to have their troops in Somalia. Why? We would have our troops back at home. We have more problems, not problems in our country, but they can go and dig and produce food. Not that they can sit in the barracks and fight anybody. They can produce. Uganda Army, Uganda People's Defense Forces produces food. They can as well come back. But because we have a passion, we have a desire to liberate, pacify Somalia, to make Somalia habitable for all Somalis, irrespective of race, color, and religion. Our troops were the first one to be in Somalia. I want to take that opportunity to thank President Museveni for having given the Somali people a hope. At that time, United Nations Security Council said all frontline states should not get involved in the Somali conflict. Kenya tied its hands after the Ethiopian episode where Islamic courts swept out Ethiopia unceremoniously one morning, and they left with a lot of casualties. They did not do anything they saw. But the situation continued to be bad until they sat down, African Union said, no, we need to save Somalia. We need to pacify the route. Mark you the route, that route of the eastern route of trade, which is the Suez Canal, Red Sea, via the Indian Ocean, goes all the way the Gulf, and then to the middle, to the far east, must be very, very protected. I have written several papers on that. I warned the people that the Mediterranean Sea would become a sea with dead bodies. After Gaddafi, if you kill Gaddafi, I said it before the strikes. I wrote a letter to President Museveni. It is also on record that people have allowed Gaddafi to be killed. There will be chaos. We have chaos now. The Somalia that we want is a Somalia that has no killings, is a Somalia that understands. But some imperial mechanism are creeping in. Mercantile capitalism comes in several ways. One of the ways that it comes, it says, we shall pay your salaries. We want you to work with so and so. Don't work with this group. Work with us. We shall help you. Now, this is the group that always waits. And I've been telling people every day in Africa, everywhere on this television, this is a program to punch, and we are going to punch. Before I leave it, and Miriam, you come in and say what you want to say and give me the questions that you want us to answer. I will answer. I've told the people that the biggest problem of this Africa, the greater Africa, 70% of Africa, is France. That's the problem we have. And those people listening from Foreign Affairs and any ministry, is up to you. Like it or not, France is one of the biggest hurdles that Africa has. If we don't stand up and tell France to pack and ship and stand, either help us or don't help us, like Britain has done. The British came and brought English civilization. They have not stuck on any country here. France has stuck on us. France has even left the countries. It has left the countries where it was not, where it has come to countries where we don't speak French. Okay? But it has come to maim us, to kill us, to molest us because of oil. They want oil in Nigeria. They want oil in Southern Sudan. They want oil in Uganda. They want oil in Kenya. This is not their territory. This is a British territory. We have to be very firm. We want to trade with everybody. We must stand like Fidel Castro and told them we are non-aligned. We are not going to be part and parcel of the stupidity that they are bringing in Somalia. Somalia is us who suffered. It is not them. They never suffered. They never sent troops. Money does not fight. Money is eaten by bureaucracy. Money is eaten. It is France. You can go to heaven, fly to heaven, come back and tell me, if you will not find the footprints of France in Somalia, tell me I'm wrong. Who? Qatar is working on behalf of who? The French told you they have left. They were in, where were they? They were in South Sudan. They told us publicly, Total Oil said, we have not found oil. Hallelujah. We are coming to Kenya, we want oil. During elections, you know where France was standing, whom they were supporting. Thanks, President Uhuru Kenyatta, you did a great job. You had to do a handshake. France was going to divide us to several pieces on the streets. We would fall on the streets of Nairobi. You see what has happened in Amazonia. Millions and millions. School children for 4 years have never gone to school. And France calls itself a member of the Security Council. Rubbish. It calls itself a permanent member. What for? How can a permanent member allow Paul Biya to leave the children? There are children who have never gone to school in Amazonia. What do you tell these children? What do you explain to them? Now, after seeing that, when they came to Kenya, Total Oil wanted to buy oil from Taro Oil. Ngamia 1, Ngamia 2, Ngamia, give us something. That something did not come. They withdrew their help of Lapset. What is it that we gain from them? They said the Lapset is too close to Somalia. It will be bombed down. It has no viability. Okay, Kenya said we shall do it. We speak the truth now. And before this problem comes in this great horn of Africa, people should know where to point the fingers. France, Norway, Qatar are in Somalia. The behind arm of France, the people jostling for these ocean waters the people telling Djibouti, you also go understand, for United Nations membership, we shall give you a vote. Who is saying that? We know. Who paid money for the Somalis to take a legal suit? It is too expensive. Somalia doesn't have even a bank that functions. Wahara. Is it Wahara? What are these things called Wahara? This Forex Bureau does not pay money for legal fees.
Forex Bureau and the money exchange.
What are they called? I don't know. Yes. Mr. Abdul Salim from Mogadishu, you are watching, you should know.
Abdi Samad, yes.
When you look at that, you look at a scenario where United Nations Security Council, aware of the circumstances, the suffering of the people, America having been the one that sparked the 1991 crisis, that they ran hastily and left even the equipment and ran away and left for us to handle as Ugandans. Because I am talking with authority, because I'm a Ugandan and my brothers have died there. My sisters have died. I have a right to speak about Somalia. Nobody can stop me about it. Nobody, not even America, can stop me. Because the Americans are not there. They ran and they left us to die. Now they have seen us, we have done a dirty job. We have done everything, cleaned everything. They have now flown in. Okay? They want to take everything that is good around Somalia. They are telling Famijo, they have found a puppet president. President Famijo is a puppet of the West, a man who has who does not tell his nationals what he wants, when he wants, how he wants it. He's simply listening to Qatar. Oh, Qatar is going to build this port. What port for what? You need the neighborhood to have a good port.
Yes, indeed.
You need everybody in Africa to export. You export sand through it.
And speaking about the donkey work, Doctor, that you've mentioned, that other nations waited until some of the African nations came in and cleaned up what was the mess in Somalia right now. Seems to stability is slowly returning to Somalia. And in 2012, there was a conference convened in London on Somalia, and in the conference there was reference to the achievements and sacrifices AMISOM and other forces, and an endorsement of the UN Security Council's decision to expand the mandate to raise the troop ceiling of AMISOM. But there's something that it was noted in that conference in 2012. Uganda and Burundi were not mentioned by name at all, nor was Kenya or Ethiopia cited in their recent efforts in fighting Al-Shabaab. So it's like it was a coming together of the Western powers, and it's like they're plotting on how now they want to come in Somalia. But after the African nations who are there to pacify Somalia had done the donkey job, and of course, Kenya was not recognized at all, and despite Kenya having borne the brunt of, a Somali refugee crisis by hosting the largest refugee, population in the world for over 20 years, that there has been war in Somalia. So that is something very interesting to note. But also, Doctor, Ethiopia seems to have a lot of interest right now in Somalia. I don't know what you will say to that.
First of all, before we go there, let's tackle the imperialist first. Before I come to neighborhood.
So we finish with this
resolution 1267 of the United Nations Security Council. What is the difference between the men in Kandahar and the men in Balboa? What is the difference between those slaughtering people in Kandahar and those slaughtering the people in Somalia? What is the difference between those slaughtering people in Lebanon and the difference with those slaughtering people in Yemen? What is the difference? Tell me that resolution 1267, which wanted Kenya, was right. This guy's own property. Can somebody tell me why America is hesitant? Are they a beneficiary to the properties? This guy have property. Every rebel group in the world has been put on a blacklist, proscribed. The best English is proscribed. not cheap English of Somalia. Proscribed. You know, to proscribe an organization. The Lord Resistance Army was proscribed of heinous crimes committed against the people of Uganda. Until we brought peace, sat on the table, negotiated peace. President Museveni accepted. People came on table. Peace has returned in northern Uganda. If you isolate terrorism, you have an angle to go. But if you come and clap hands with them every day, America has disappointed me. I'm very disappointed with them. Belgium, America, and Germany. Germany usually stands on the sides. I don't know what has gone in them. That people will suffer. Which people? Which people? Which people will suffer? No, tell me, if you proscribe Al-Shabaab, who will suffer? The people under Al-Shabaab or the people outside the Al-Shabaab area? Double standards. Double standards. United Nations Security Council has become a laughing stock. It's a laughing stock. As long as you have one country that allows human rights abuses in Libya, as long as you have one country that arms General Khalifa Haftar to go and kill a government in Tripoli, as long as you have a country that allows Paul Biya to destroy, to kill young boys, they don't go to school, they are at home. As long as you have a country that dismembers Central African Republic, as long as you have a country looking for oil in South Sudan, sorry, we can't have a Security Council. What did you have it for? Show me. Tell me. Tell me one thing that the country that always divides Africa. 70% of Africa is under terrible conflict or spell of a conflict. Now it has gone to Somalia, it is drifting. The leaders look at Kenya as if Kenya is an enemy. Yemen, they have grown, they have eaten food here. They have houses here. They have children here. Their children go to school here. Nobody has ever said, but they have drifted.
Indeed, and Famajo right now I think is looking at Kenya as an enemy, and to just support that claim, Doctor, for Somali officials right now are negotiating with Turkey, Qatar, and Ethiopia and Eritrea to support the takeover of Jubaland from the Kenyan troops. I remember the Kenyan troops went into Jubaland in October 2011 after the Linda Inchi. We were forced into that war.
Okay.
And then
exactly. Look.
By the army.
And let people talk. And the people in the foreign affairs of this country pick pens. Just do a very powerful investigating piece. Do it. Let me to show you. The company that is paying Somalia the fees, the legal fees of Somalia in ICJ, the money is drawn from Paris. A Norwegian company. Why is it that the Norwegian company does not draw money from Oslo, but it draws money from Paris? From the bank of George Soros. Mnaona? See where the problem is. See where the problem is. Because you Kenyans are not talking. You are not talking. Don't write. Let's talk with these guys. They cannot defeat us. Let's talk. All of us have suffered. Our brothers, our sisters have been killed. You can't tell me I'm a Ugandan and I shouldn't speak about Somalia. Bring back my people who died. I have a right. Where's the money being drawn from? It is being drawn from Paris. Funded, executed, logistically equipped to go and accuse Kenya. Where would Somalia get the money to pay the lawyers over $5 million when it doesn't have even a coin? Where is it? It lives on handouts. So you tell me, if you are living on handouts, how do you go and accuse a whole other country that have helped you. And these companies now go and connive. When did Norway become an expert of geography? Stupid. These are stupid countries that we must tell the truth. Tell them in the face. There must be people who stand like Nkrumah, Nyerere, and say, upuzi muache. Africa does not stand and talk. People shy away. It is drifting, Mama.
It is drifting.
It is drifting towards a new conflict. In fact, Al-Shabaab is going to laugh at us.
Al-Shabaab, I think, will have a free day.
Yes, they are laughing at us. Because a new conflict is emerging. Mr. Famijo is busy running with suits around the world. Your Excellency President Museveni, I'm telling you the truth. Take care of this guy. Our interest as East Africans is to safeguard the horn of Africa for the passage of free trade, international trade, and others. I want to ask you one question. Which country in this century, when African Union is looking for one Africa, one passport, one trade, and you are looking for a border? Oh, my border. Oh, my border. Look at this. Are you Bismarck? Go and bring Bismarck. Go and bring Bismarck. So some people have seen Somalia going to stabilize. They have decided to turn against the entire strategy of pacification. They now brought in mercantile capitalism. Where is the oil? Where is the this? Where is Ngamia? Where is this? Can we have camels? The milk? The what? Conflict resolution mechanism entails you cannot win the war without the mind, the heart, and the stomach. Let's give Somalia the mind, the heart, and the stomach. Teach them how to use the mind, the heart, and the stomach. And that's what AMISOM is doing. Then they will quit. There's no other student who has read any. If there is one, let's do the exam. Bring it on. You can't solve a conflict with boots alone. Time has come to change the strategy of solving the problem. That's what Kenya is doing, quite a lot of developmental activities to teach the Somali army how to develop projects, how to farm, how to do all types of things.
And Kenya is busy doing that. Somalia's top hierarchy of the last couple of years has tactfully been using other foreign countries to, of course, try to isolate Kenya and takes the side that Kenya belongs to Kenya. And in May this year, the House of Representatives in Somalia passed amendments to the 2008 Petroleum Act, which allows the upper house of Somalia to determine a revenue sharing formula between the national governments. And now the Somali, at that time, after Kenya realized that Somalia has gone out and has auctioned this area, Kenya actually wrote a protest letter, and Somali came out and said that part that is under contention, they will not touch it. It will not be sold. And then Kenya learned later that actually Somalia went ahead. So Somalia had assured Kenya in May that early in the year that will not be touched. And then Kenya learned in February that, you know what, Somalia has gone ahead and actually auctioned that part of the land that was under dispute. So the 15 blocks are in question in under dispute. So actually, Somalia went against its own promise to Kenya.
Yes. And for those who doubt me, and there are people who always doubt us, when we speak with reality, facts on the ground, the countries that actually rejected Kenya's bid are the following. One, United States of America, which brought the war. And don't hesitate to tell them. I don't know why diplomacy. I'm not a diplomat. So please don't look at me. I'm not a diplomat. I did not study diplomacy. I hated it. I'm an international activist. I speak as I see it. United States of America, France, Belgium, Germany, Kuwait, Poland openly refused Kenya's bid to proscribe, that's better English, not this English of Somalia saying that this. And I saw the ambassador of Somalia in the UN talking rubbish. This, look, proscribed organization. What are the qualities of an organization that is proscribed? 1, they kill. 2, they maim. 3, they plant bombs. 4, they launder money. 5, they launder people. They inscript children. They slaughter women. They rape women. Those are the qualities of proscribing an organization.
They do acts that goes against the human rights.
So what is the difference?
So US was part of the countries that refused for Al-Shabaab.
Exactly, I've told you.
But they were busy. I think they put Sudan under the watch of the countries that support terrorism, and yet Al-Shabaab is a terror group, but they refuse to proscribe it. I don't understand the logic in that. Why would they do that?
And then we have Sudan. You see, have you seen the power play in Sudan? I will pick a phone, I'll talk to my friend Daglo. I'll speak to you, Commander Daglo. I know you from 1996. Your foreign policy is harping on things that you don't know. You support. Kenya has stabilized Somalia. Like it, hate it. That's it. So the most serious thing now, the problem does not touch only Kenya. If you touch that area, you have touched the whole area of the Great Lakes region. So someone has stubbornly told the government in Somalia, don't lose hope, go to that route. Yesterday they were on radio, on BBC, on every radio, in Somali radio, calling upon people to crowd at the Hague.
Or during the proceedings that will start on 9th of
that
November.
Give food, give accommodation from Belgium, from where? Mm-hmm. You know, I understand a bit of their language.
Somali. Yes.
Because I have Somali friends. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they were telling people to crowd there, to block to show Kenya. We are not enemies.
No, we're not.
We are not enemies. We are Africans. We are looking for one Africa, an integrated Africa. An Africa where every African, every Somali, everybody walks free in this without a passport being asked to you. Then today, in this current situation, we are told someone wants a border demarcated. Over to you, Miriam.
Yes, indeed. So it's very interesting to learn that Ethiopia also seems to be having some interest in Somalia, and sources say that landlocked Ethiopia is actually eyeing the KDF run Kismayo to port to provide easy importation of commodities, and the fight for resources by Somali leaders has put Kenya's interests at risk, with Somali parliament pushing for the withdrawal of the Kenya Defense Forces. So Ethiopia, I'm shocked.
You can't be shocked.
I thought
Ethiopia is a civil society government.
I thought we were
it's a civil society government.
But even before the Prime Minister came,
yes,
it is something that has been happening even with the previous government.
But not to this level.
Mm-hmm. Ahmed has taken
he's the master in East and the Horn of Africa, who is pacifying this area through civil unrest. That's the truth. Mm-hmm. And when you visit your country, just watch the steps, because you might be next. You see? So you can't blame them. The foreign policy of Ethiopia was strong when Zenawi, my friend, that we used to work together in London in 1990, 89, 90, with that other militant guy in the Eritrea. Yes, we used to work in the same office. They were for Uganda, for Ethiopia Relief Association. I was for Uganda Community Relief Association, looking after the Ugandan refugees that went to London. The British government gave us an office together. Zenawi, Efaki, and others, Dambo Nambago, Wafula, and the rest of the people. We used to work together for Uganda and then for them for Ethiopia. And they used to go for meetings. Look, that was when Ethiopia was worth it. You saw it change. You saw the economy come up. You saw everything was straight. But when civil society, George Soros, men, you see, always be very careful with these gentlemen who get degrees, scholarships from these amorphous bodies. Some of us never got scholarship. We started the hard way on the streets of London, washing toilets of Bazungu. Hard way, not scholarship. But be careful of men who said there was this thing, scholarship given by George Soros. They are a problem in Africa also.
Okay.
They don't have Africa at heart. They have Africa a quarter.
They're serving other interests.
Yes.
And Doctor, I don't know if you know this, but reports have indicated that President of Somalia, President Farmajo, wants both Eritrea and Ethiopia forces to enter into Somalia through bilateral arrangements outside of the AMISOM mandate. So he wants Eritrea and Ethiopia not to be part of the AMISOM, but to come in a bilateral agreement.
You see, the direction of Farmajo. Farmajo is not the president of Somalia. He's a stooge of the United States and the allies I've mentioned now here. I am shocked about Germany because Germany on resolution 1970 of the United Nations Security Council to bomb Libya, Germany stood, refused. I'm shocked that it has come up. So, why, when you see Djibouti, and this all touches the same disease, the disease is the French. Djibouti has been told by the French that France has got more territories worldwide. So if you go to the General Assembly, there are countries that will vote freely. Don't go and you can ask, look, you can ask for this post as African Union or ask as an independent and we shall give you support. Believe me or not, September is 2 days away from here. The General Assembly is about to start. We are still here and we shall broadcast live. You will receive Djibouti standing high. Because you will have countries like Haiti, a country where God comes to cry but doesn't drop tears, despite the fact that it is surrounded by water. It will vote. Those in South America, you will see them. They will line. I have seen it. I have seen Djibouti vote in Assembly of State Parties of the ICC. It used to go with not Djibouti and Botswana. Used to give us a headache. So someone has told them, don't accept Kenya to take the seat.
Because Djibouti had conceded after the AU resolution, after people voted.
And then you saw the handshake between Mama,
yes,
which the Djibouti foreign minister turned around and rubbished.
Days later,
You
he said,
saw.
"Oh, back, yes."
It's very embarrassing. They don't have diplomacy.
And he said they will pursue the UN Security Council seat, a non-permanent member to the UN itself. And also, if you know, clanism is a very big issue when it comes to Somalia and how it operates there. It's the two clans, you know, the Madobe and the not the Madobe, but yes, and Marihan and Ogaden. So, majority of top leadership in Somalia comes from the Marihan clan. And it is believed that even the leadership of Al-Shabaab comes from the Marihan clan. And there's part of Somalia-Kenya border that actually the Kenyan government wanted to build, actually started building a wall to protect us because it was a porous border and they were coming in. So Al-Shabaab was accessing that. So Al-Shabaab is actually now tearing down that wall, and the Somali government actually is just there watching. So could there be a cooperation between some of these elements and top Somali the Al-Shabaab?
I am not wrong.
So what
and
are we doing?
The viewers and will tell you,
yes,
it's very. You see, they are going to be they are laughing last. Mm-hmm. They are going to say, "We told you." Mm-hmm.
So is there a possibility that actually the Somali government or some elements in the Somali government could be protecting the Al-Shabaab?
Yeah.
And what will that mean to the efforts by AMISOM there in Somalia?
It is the beginning is the rise of Somali nationalism. Mm-hmm. It's beginning to rise.
Oh, it is rising.
Yes. The nationalism that took Ethiopians hastily, mm-hmm. leaving several dead, is beginning. There is one thing that you cannot play about when it comes to Somalia. One, nomadic democracy is the most difficult democracy that you can ever tame.
Nomadic, they came all the way from the Fulani, you know that?
Yeah. So you can't root.
Yes.
You can't talk of democracy.
Mm-hmm.
That's you can't. For example, you can now stabilize by holding elections in Jubaland. But if you say you try to hold elections in the entire Somalia, how will you hold it? Some people have gone to look for pasture in Ethiopia. Some have gone to nomadic democracy. It's a difficult thing to tame. One, two, Somalia is a religious country. Religion, they have one religion. There are very few Christians, if there are any. I've not heard. They have one religion. Somalia has got one culture. The clans. For me, Joe's clan is related to, I have discovered so many things. For the research I've conducted for the whole 1 year on the clanism. The politics of clanism works very efficiently in Somalia. And President Museveni has duplicated it, which is very good. That when you enter Uganda, you tell us which clan leader you are going to see. We won't get worried about you.
So Warihan clan in Somalia seems to be the predominant clan. In fact,
yes,
all leaders in Somalia.
Yes, so when you want to go to Uganda, you go to Kisenyi. And the leader will come and sign the papers with LC1 that he has come, he's here. If he gets lost, the Museveni kingdom, you know what happens. So you have to produce the man on the days when he wants to go back. That is this Uganda is the only country in the world that gives Somalia visa to the entry point. Not yesterday, it's for a long time. The richest guy who has even brought a restaurant, CJ. Haven't you seen Kenyans?
Oh, all the CBD restaurants
yes.
are now owned by Somalis.
No, the CBD, but
majority
the CJ collects more people than Intercon.
Mm-hmm. It does, and a couple of others also.
Yes.
Yes.
No, but the CJ alone. If you find the people standing to fight for chairs. For a seat. They are very...
The industrious people, Somalia are very industrious people, yes.
That's why they are hated in South Africa.
Mm-hmm. They're very industrious people.
Industrious. Mm-hmm. You don't put them, they don't sit and they are not lazy. That is why some of us are crying for it to stabilize so that they can become industrious. So that Abdul Hamid Salim Ali in Mogadishu can do something that can improve Africa. We are not condemning everybody, but we are condemning the behavior of them drifting towards a new war, a new type of war that they want to create. That's it. Our concerns are there. And as Africans, we must chart the way to discover why this is happening. And that is why we are here, and we have done so.
And talking about what is happening right now in Somalia, of course, the contested areas, the 15 blocks that are under contention right now between Somalia and Kenya are found in Jubaland. And of course, Jubaland President Sheikh Madobe comes from a different clan from President Farmajo. And of course, the Jubaland president is friendly, is seen to be friendly to the Kenyan side. And he's the one who's been supporting the KDF in rooting out Al-Shabaab in Jubaland, which is very important to note there. So is that why now they want to, because they see this president is very friendly to the Kenyan government and to the KDF, is that why Somalia, the larger Somalia, is feeling very uncomfortable with having KDF still in Jubaland?
That has been, look, it is historical. It has been there. Even during Siad Barre, that area was closer to Kenya than it was closer to Mogadishu. Historical.
Well, that
they have a lot of links.
Peace and the
you are not going to force people to buy friendship. People get friendship because of good deeds. Do you buy friendship with somebody? No. It has been there time memorial since creation of Somalia as a state. That those people work hand in hand with the people in Kenya. There's nothing wrong with that. But
it's making Farmajo very uncomfortable.
Because he is a poor administrator.
And now he wants Qatar, Turkey, Ethiopia, and Eritrea to go there and be and the ones who take over from the Kenyan troops in Jubaland.
You know what? Africa must start talking. Kenya must start talking. We want to have discussion. Let's not hide this debate from people. And they say you are solving it. You're not solving anything. Let's start talking. Let's start debunking these guys. Let's debunk their furies. Norway, when did Norway become a geography? I have never seen Norway also conquering one state. This is the formation of a small state in Europe with a population of about 6 million people. Mnacheza na sisi, we are 40, 50. That it is a geographical group from Norway discovered this. What my hell? Yes. Britain has never come back to come and muzzle itself. Even in Zimbabwe, Britain walks away because everybody will say it was your colony. Now you have come back. Britain would rather have Zimbabwe. Today, the policy of Britain against Zimbabwe is different from what it was. The conservative government has taken a new direction. But America wants to pull Britain all the time to go along with them so that they punish Emerson Mnangagwa. They come at a time when things have
calmed down.
Yes. It's when they enjoy.
Come in.
But when things are so hard, so tough, the Ugandan troops dying, we always have.
I'm talking about the Ugandan troops dying in Somalia. So has other troops, the countries that have sent their troops there, outside of the KDF that Somalia is very uncomfortable having in there, they also want Burundi and Uganda to scale down on their soldiers. They're also uncomfortable with Uganda and Burundi soldiers. Why do you think this could be the reason? Uganda and Burundi, there's no border dispute of any kind. So why are they a bit uncomfortable with having a lot of Ugandan soldiers there as well as Burundi?
Nationalism. Cheap nationalism. Islamic courts, Ethiopia saved that country from warlords. Ahmed Sharif just woke up in the morning, swept them out. because the tide of Somali nationalism turned on the Ethiopians, and they could not. They used all the bad names that Ethiopia. I don't think Dr. Abiy has learned the history of Ethiopian troops losing Mogadishu in their shoes.
Well, history has a way of repeating itself.
Yes, in Balidoa, leaving their shoes and Amare and all these things. I don't know. If I were him, I would ask all the army generals who were there, who fought a war.
And after Ethiopia left, Ethiopia at that time was developing a navy force in Somalia, and it closed down.
Yes.
But now there's been seen some efforts. They're reviving this navy force that was disbanded decades ago after they separated with Eritrea, and now they're starting to build this port again. So it's an indication that they might be eyeing the Kismayo port. So this is what is under contention for Ethiopia.
Yes. Kismayo port is one of the most strategic ports on the eastern coast of the Indian Ocean.
That is very true.
Strategically in the deep seas, it is the deepest compared to all the ports, right from Port Said, Port Sudan, Dar es Salaam, Maputo, Durban, Port Elizabeth, all those. There is no port, Mombasa, there is no port deeper. If geologically, if you look at the formation of part of the problem of the struggle for Somalia is also Norwegian trawlers come to ship to fish. There's plenty, you didn't know. The biggest war around there is the fishing.
The fishing, yes.
With big nets collecting all the fish.
Yes.
You find Chinese, Filipinos, Malaysians, Norwegians, Swedish, all these ships are there. You know, fish breeds the coolest water, the coolest angle of the Indian Ocean. The deepest and the cooler is where the fish can breed. Fish cannot breed in a running ocean or a running place. It needs cool time in order to breed.
Calm waters, yes.
So the calm waters are there. You think why the Chukurambo for Somalia, partly the shipping, the ships, they come for fish. Chinese take real fish, which is prohibited the other side. You know, there's a very terrible trade going on there. Who do you think why people would fight for an empty desert? No, it's not empty.
It's
the
resources,
fish.
yes, there has to be something that they're fighting for. Now, during the negotiations, of course, when Farmajo wanted these countries to take over from the KDF team, that includes Turkey, Qatar, Ethiopia, and Eritrea, and he wanted the support for their military activities in Somalia to take over Jubaland from Kenya, the key spy chief for Somalia, who was also leading the talks, Fahad Yassin, has Kenyan passport.
But all of them. It's like having Uganda and Rwanda quarreling. Rwandese have our passport. They didn't have passports before. So why do you quarrel? You are even moving.
But you see, when you go to countries like USA and you get their passport, you're supposed to be loyal to that, the US first, before you even think about where you've come from. You have to be loyal to that country.
So Mijo himself had
you have to be loyal to that country before,
American passport.
You know.
Yes. When he was elected the president, he didn't even tell Somalis that he had an American passport.
He's the same person who is...
Yes. But we excused them because the state was completely dismantled. This is a new state they are forming. That's why they have to use people's passports.
But when you look at things like that, don't you think at some point, will Kenya feel as if we've been used? We've been a means to an end of some sort? I know the situation there is unfortunate.
The next month is the month for you feeling so.
We've been used.
Miriam, you are asking questions that can provoke. Next month is a month for Kenya to feel the pinch. But we won't allow Kenya to feel the pinch.
Because the pinch is coming?
Yes. Okay. We won't allow the pinch to go to Kenya. We shall stand by it. We shall help. And we are going to speak the truth. Africa needs the Nyerere to come back And the Nyerere must come through Matanga and the rest of the people who speak it as it is. Put the truth. America, France, one country called France has caused Africa the biggest problems that we see from Mali, Libya, Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, Central African Republic, now extended here, Somalia. One, all those problems you see up there, Morocco, Polisario front, you check. Can you tell me that General Khalifa Haftar has aeroplanes? A rebel leader has planes.
Sophisticated warplanes.
Yes,
not
that
just
go under bomb his fellow citizens.
Military jets, yes, he does.
I think. Who is giving him the planes? France. France is the only country powerful in the Mediterranean Sea. It can see those planes. If it wants to shoot them, it can shoot them. But they have allowed, they even give logistics that now hit there. There are people in Tripoli who are not eating food for over 6 months. They are being bombarded every morning from there on. One of the pirates of an American passport called General Khalifa Haftar, that he will come to AU.
Is that why the
No,
US
which AU should this stupid man come to?
And the US has been very quiet on that as well. Haftar, he's the citizen. They've been very quiet.
He's killing them. He's killing, because you see, if you have proscribed the Taliban, you don't want to proscribe Al-Shabaab? Surely. What is the difference between ISIS and Al-Shabaab?
And Al-Shabaab, they are the same people.
You can read the messages.
We can read from
I think we have said our truth.
Yes.
The truth is Somalia is drifting towards a new conflict. It has brought us a new danger, which will be very difficult to come out of, because it is going to be a bigger, extended war. The drift towards a fresh conflict, using fresh players,
and proxy wars.
And exactly.
That's the heart of it.
The proxy war, you have thank you for reminding me that word. The proxy war.
There's a proxy war going on in Somalia.
Not only in Somalia, here. You see the one between Uganda and Kenya, there's something wrong. Now it has erupted in the DRC. You see something there in DRC. Rebels yesterday became bigger. Tshisekedi is busy in Japan standing like it. Things are bad that way. And they talk about Japan. I saw Mr. General Buhari appeared in.
Did he show up? Because Nigerians
yesterday
were telling us.
General Buhari appeared.
He's not been seen.
No, he's there.
At the TCAD meeting.
But I have liked the spirit of my Biafran people. They zoomed
because
in.
They wanted
they
to protest.
Went to the embassy in huge numbers. The Japanese police had rough time, but you know, civilized police don't beat up people. They checked them, allowed them to go. Peaceful demonstration. They say, we want to see our president.
Our president.
Yes, they were live. Some of my correspondents in Nigeria were in Tokyo.
Yes.
They were covering it last night, sending me all these pictures. I have them. So I saw General Buhari appearing. He's there. But the topic is, do they go there? Do we see the results? Are people in Africa having value for their money? For all these trips, all these planes jetting that side, you know? Over 60 planes. You know? Do we have value for money? If the money comes in, are we ready for it? We go and borrow money from countries that have a social contract. We bring it to a country that has no social contract.
And then we just squander
If
it.
you look at Kenya today, where is the social contract? Mrs. Amolo, who stole the NYS 2 money, if you go to the register of the police, you will find she signed a long time ago. That's the Africa.
That is the Africa we have.
There is no probation officer who checks the records to say they told you not to sleep in Naivasha.
Why are you in Naivasha?
Why are you in Naivasha today? So until we have those social contracts, then we can borrow this money from that place and utilize it properly. So don't blame the Chinese. When they come with the train, they better have their own restaurant, because at times when there is no food, they slaughter a dog.
Mohamed Tawali is saying, for information, Doctor, the Gambian has lost her first president of the Republic, Sir Dauda Kairaba Jawara. Yes, we know that. I think we announced here yesterday that he was being buried today.
He was being today. I'm sorry, I need to do that. He's one of the Pan-Africans who were overthrown by Yahya Jammeh.
Now in exile.
And I know the daughter. The daughter has been very, very supportive to our programs, but tell that Gambian that you never invited a doctor to any of Adama Barrow has forgotten that it was this station that brought him to power, because Judge Yahya had closed every station. We remained with this station alone, and we took our satellite systems to pick everything, and Yahya was wondering where this was coming from. But thank you very much for reminding us he was overthrown by Yahya, and he has gone to the Mecca. May God rest his soul in peace.
Yes, indeed, and he was buried today. Menegut Nyilo, you're saying you got it right. And who is this? Henry Nzimbi Kenyeli, you're saying, I feel Kenya is making some efforts in road construction. Yeah, I think President Kibaki really made a good blueprint.
Foundation.
And I love that President Kenyatta came in and continued that.
You see, there is one thing that before we end, we should laud the government of Kenyatta for the 2 terms. You know why? They were doing a constitution. You see, you have to keep in the constitution. Why Kibaki was doing most of those things? There was no constitution. It was the wrong constitution. That's why Mr. Kibaki could come and bulldoze for all these things to be done. Today, you can't bulldoze for roads to be done. Wamutata will be in court to say where there was no public participation. You get the point? So you should give this government a credit. They have tried for their 2 terms. They have tried to complete. They have tried to stick to law, to the rule of law. The president at times might not want some people to be in places of accountability like Ouko and other people. But you have to watch them. He's there by law, and he's doing something. You see, look at the president of Kenya today. He has a problem of a chief justice who walks towards the north while he's thinking in the south.
The Chief Justice was making a speech today. I don't know where he was talking, but I think he was in a certain event that was...
No, he was talking, opening a court at Ruiru.
Oh, okay.
A new court, yes. What was he saying? Another lie?
I just watched it in passing. I did not get the whole content.
Look, the president has a problem there. The Chief Justice looks north while his brain is in the south. He says there are no corrupt judges. Then FBI brings the list. You see? All of them releasing the drug dealers. You know? It's a shame.
It is.
So thank you very much. Unless you have something else.
No, nothing much.
And my eyes don't see now, but thank you very much. This is Chol Mako Bantu, and that is the problem of Africa.
I think we're having a conversation up there, and I think you said Somalia has 3 major tribes, yes, but the one that the president belongs to. I think it's the Mahiran clan.
Yeah.
That is the one that has all the top jobs in Somalia, and Al Shabaab leader also is from that clan. So there seems to be some level of conspiracy. When you see the border that Kenya has been was building in term, and to try to give us protection and easy access for Al Shabaab, that was an easy access for Al Shabaab, and the Somali government has been watching even as Al Shabaab comes in to destroy this wall, and that's how they accessed Kenya. Remember the Cuban doctors that were kidnapped? It was through that place. So it's a lot. So you wonder if all these countries are in Somalia trying to help the government of Somalia to fight Al Shabaab, and on the other hand, they're trying. There seems to be some element in that government. I'm not sure President Farmajo, but there seems to be some elements in Somali government that are working in cahoots and are actually rubbishing those efforts by these countries that have come in Somalia, trying to pacify Somalia, and seems to be supporting the activities of Al-Shabaab, because I think they want some countries out, that including Kenya, and of course the disquiet with Ugandan troops and Burundi troops. So it's interesting times there. So it seems as though the efforts, these other countries were making in Somalia is not being appreciated so much. I don't know. And it's like a catch-22 situation, Doctor. The countries can't just down their tools and leave, because where will that leave Somalia? Are they ready yet? Because I know there is a plan, and in 2022, I think 2021, there should be an exit of troops in Somalia, but are they even ready to govern themselves yet? Or by then, there should be a structured way in which they're going to do it?
You live to go where? I think the UN and other people are trying to make terrible mistakes. Somalia is not yet ready to govern itself. If given the divisions that we see in the sub-clans, clans, and the clan politics, it is impossible. I don't see anything happening in the near future where peace can return if AMISOM leaves. I think they should find a way to make sure that AMISOM stays.
All right. Okay, so that is that. So do we thank our viewers now?
Thank you very much. I was looking at a photograph here, which I thought is Macallan.
That looks like a science experiment, but
yes,
Macallan. We'll see you tomorrow. Do we see them at Good Morning Africa show in the morning tomorrow?
Yes.
Good.
Miriam will be here right
in the morning.
In the morning.
Yes.
And she's back. I don't know, Mr. Gwai. Gwai, is it again?
Who?
The guy, John Aguat. Yes.
Is it?
Where is he? He used to say, where is Miriam? Now Miriam is back.
Oh, is it George Nganga or who? But
yes.
Anyway, I'll see you here tomorrow, 11 a.m. East African time for the Good Morning Africa show.
Thank you very much. We've done our best.
Okay, good.
And you continue to do the same until... I think we better talk. People in Kenya must start talking. Television stations must start talking about this. But the people are not talking about this. You find the mainstream television in Kenya, the programs they are bringing are very worrying. This is a very important, crucial. He says there's something wrong in this eastern border of ours, which must be talked and let the Kenyans know about it. And that's what I've done, and I hope God will help me. This station, therefore, thank you very much, Miriam, for your time at night. And for the first time, this is a bit, you have seen how the show is liked. It is the time, and it goes down when you see now people have switched on to the main television. But we have filled that gap. The punch.
Has filled that gap.
And there you are, it is yours. Take it. Have it. every Thursday. Thank you very much. God bless you. This station, therefore, is for Africa, with Africa, by Africa, and of Africa, and all of us without border. Border. Thank you.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.